History tells us that empires fall because they grow weak. But what if that's not the whole truth? What if the greatest danger to an empire isn't poverty, invasion, or decay, but success itself? For more than 600 years, one empire ruled the crossroads of the world. It commanded continents, controlled trade between East and West, humbled kings, and shattered armies. Its capital was the envy of the world. Its sultans were seen as God's shadow on earth. And yet, this empire didn't collapse overnight. It bled slowly, silently, from within. What truly destroyed the Ottoman Empire wasn't a single war or a single enemy, but a chain of decisions that turned strength into fragility, unity into division, and glory into stagnation. This is not the story most textbooks tell. This is the story of how one of history's greatest empires rose from obscurity, ruled the world, and then collapsed under the weight of its own power. To understand the Ottomans, we must return to a fractured world. It's the late 13th century. The Middle East is scarred by crusades. The Byzantine Empire, once the eastern pillar of Rome, is dying slowly. The Mongols have torn through Asia, leaving chaos in their wake. Anatolia, the land between Europe and Asia, is a battlefield of ideas, armies, and ambitions. Small Turkish tribes, former nomads, wander the region. They are warriors without kingdoms, believers without empires, fighting for survival on the edge of civilization. They are known as Ghazi's holy warriors of Islam. Most will vanish into history. One will not. From this chaos emerges a small, poor, and underestimated principality. Its leader is not a king or an emperor. His name is Osman. And from his name, an empire will be born. Osman I ruled little more than a strip of land on the Byzantine frontier. He had no grand palace, no massive army, no treasury. What he had was opportunity. The Byzantine Empire was collapsing inward, unable to defend its borders. Local Christian populations were exhausted by taxation and instability. Osman presented himself not just as a conqueror, but as a protector. Under his leadership, warfare was combined with religious legitimacy. Victories were framed as divine approval. Followers were rewarded with land and status. This wasn't random violence. It was organized expansion. Osman's successors transformed his small territory into a growing state. His son, Orhan, captured the city of Bursa in 1326, making it the first Ottoman capital. More importantly, the Ottomans did something revolutionary. They built institutions, a standing army, a centralized treasury, and a legal system combining Islamic law with imperial authority. While Europe remained divided, the Ottomans were building a state designed for expansion. The turning point came with a policy both brilliant and terrifying. The Devshirme system. Christian boys from conquered lands were taken, converted to Islam, educated, and trained to serve the state. They became administrators, generals, and the elite soldiers known as the Janissaries. They had no loyalty to family, no tribal allegiance, only loyalty to the Sultan. This system created one of the most disciplined military forces the world had ever seen. The Ottomans crossed into Europe. City by city fell. Serbia, Bulgaria, Greece. Then, in 1453, history changed forever. Sultan Mehmed II, later known as the Conqueror, shattered the last remnant of the Roman Empire. After centuries of failed attempts, Constantinople fell. Cannons roared, walls crumbled, and the city that had stood for over 1,000 years became Istanbul, the new Ottoman capital. This was more than a conquest. It was a declaration. The Ottomans were no longer a regional power. They were an empire. Under Suleiman the Magnificent, the Ottoman Empire reached its zenith. Its borders stretched from Hungary to Yemen, from Algeria to Iraq. It ruled over Muslims, Christians, and Jews. Unlike many empires, the Ottomans allowed religious communities to govern themselves under the millet system. This tolerance brought stability and loyalty. Ottoman law was codified. Architecture flourished. Trade thrived. Istanbul became the center of the world, where East met West, faith met power, and art met authority. European kings feared Ottoman armies. Popes called them the greatest threat to Christendom. For a moment in history, the Ottoman Empire seemed unstoppable. And that is when the seeds of collapse were planted. The problem wasn't decline. The problem was success. As the empire grew, sultans became distant from the battlefield. Palace politics replaced military leadership. The Janissaries, once disciplined warriors, gained political influence. They demanded privileges, resisted reform, and turned against the very state they once protected. Succession became a blood-soaked ritual, with brothers murdering brothers to prevent civil war. Paranoia replaced trust. Fear replaced vision. Meanwhile, Europe changed. The Renaissance ignited innovation. The scientific revolution transformed warfare. The age of exploration bypassed Ottoman-controlled trade routes. The empire that once controlled global commerce was being quietly sidelined. Ottoman leadership failed to adapt. Printing presses were restricted, technological innovation slowed, and economic systems stagnated. The empire was still vast, but it was falling behind. By the 18th and 19th centuries, the Ottoman Empire was known as the sick man of Europe. Territories rebelled, European powers interfered. Nationalism tore through the Balkans. Attempts at reform, the Tanzi mode, came too late and faced resistance from conservative elites. World War I delivered the final blow. The Ottomans chose the wrong allies. Their armies were exhausted, their empire carved apart by foreign powers. In 1922, the Sultanate was abolished. After more than 600 years, the Ottoman Empire was gone, not conquered in a single battle, but dismantled piece by piece. The modern Middle East was drawn from its ruins, often with arbitrary borders and broken promises. Conflicts born from the Ottoman collapse still echo today. Yet history often reduces the Ottomans to Karaksars either, tyrants or relics. The truth is more complex. They were builders, administrators, strategists, and victims of their own success. The Ottoman story isn't unique. Rome collapsed under its own expansion. The British Empire faded after global dominance. Every great power faces the same question. Can it adapt, or does it fossilize? Empires don't fall when they are weak. They fall when they refuse to change. The Ottomans believed their system was eternal. History proved otherwise. The Ottoman Empire leaves us with three powerful lessons. First, power without reform becomes decay. Second, military strength cannot replace innovation forever. Third, empires collapse not from enemies, but from choices. And the question remains, are modern civilizations repeating the same mistakes, believing their dominance is permanent? History is not just a warning, it's a mirror. If this journey made you see history differently, consider supporting our channel by liking the video and subscribing for more deep history documentaries. Share your thoughts in the comments below, because the past is never truly past. It is waiting for us to learn or repeat it. Thanks for watching.